Guys, movies, Jerry, we're talking. Bad lighting, here we go. Alright, so it's Friday! Friday, gotta get down on Friday. And there is a family crossing the street. I just got back from the new Marvel picture, the new motion photo event of the afternoon, and Marvel Gardens of the Galaxy. Guardians of the Galaxy. I haven't slept a whole lot these past few days. Guardians of the Galaxy. That's correct. The new film from Marvel Studios, directed by a guy I am quite fond of, Mr. James Gunn. This guy came from Troma, which, as some of you know, makes very low budget, some would say schlocky, B-movies, B-horror movies, such as The Toxic Avenger. He wrote Romeo and Juliet, I think. Terra Firma was he involved in? I'm not sure. But yeah, so James Gunn is a decision, like, I heard they got him to do this movie, and I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting, because I've been worried about Marvel, man. I've been concerned. Because, like, okay, check this out. There was a time when Marvel was like, whoa, okay, you're getting legit, interesting filmmakers to make your movies. You got Kenneth Branagh to do Thor. You got Jon Favreau to do the Iron Man films. You got, I'm blanking on his name now, and I can see it. I'm looking at it with my eyeballs in my brain. Shane Black, people like that. And it seems like lately they've run into some trouble. I'm a little concerned for our friends at Marvel. I like Thor too, but they got a director for that movie who's done a lot of TV, a lot of Game of Thrones. Suitable choice. It makes sense, but on the other hand, switching to TV directors like that is a little worrisome, simply because those are people who are more used to falling in line with the sort of studio and producerial bottom line. TV is much more a producer's medium, and Marvel and Disney and all these giant money corporations are in these positions where now the stacks of chips are really high, and so taking risks is kind of, I don't know, maybe a little more scary than it was before. So this movie from the start has interested me because I really like James Gunn's movies. I love Super, Slither's a lot of fun, and I was also really excited for it because I've been getting battle fatigue, as I'm sure many of you who have watched this little whatever it is know, with a lot of the big, blockbuster action movies and stuff. They've kind of started to run together for me, and I find it harder to get excited about them. And what I liked going into this movie was the fact that they were branching out into some of their more out there titles and doing something that was a little more quirky and strange and funny. They also took a risk in this movie. Nicole Perlman is the other writing credit you'll see. And I did a little bit of reading on her, and it's cool because Marvel has their first credited female screenwriter, which is awesome. And I guess they came to her, she's been kind of pushed around by the system and gender stereotyping. And she, I guess, really wanted to write some sci-fi and some comic book stuff. And I guess Marvel came to her and was like, here's a list of titles that you could potentially write for us. And she picked Guardians of the Galaxy, and they were kind of like, huh? And she was like, yeah. And they were like, okay. And so yeah, James Gunn and Nicole Perlman are both credited on this script. I think that's really cool. It's a cool team, and it's certainly a statement that they're making with this. And I'm a little worried about Marvel because they seem the news trickling out about their upcoming lineup is a little alarming, because Edgar Wright, is a strong statement for a directorial choice, or even Drew Goddard. I know the lighting's terrible. I'm so sorry. So yeah, it seems like they're having some trouble with their bottom line right now. But enough of that. Guardians of the Galaxy. How was the film? You know what, man? I quite enjoyed this movie. I don't know necessarily if it's like perfect, but it's a lot of fun, man. And the best stuff about it is when that humor and that you know, wit and that sort of James Gunn-ness is able to take hold. The cast in this movie is great. Chris Pratt is a lot of fun to watch. I like Zoe Saldana. I go back and forth on her, but I quite liked her in this. Batista is great, really funny. Even you know, you get a little bit of Vin Diesel in there, not in your face, but you know, he's really good. Bradley Cooper is great. They're a great team together, and even though a lot of the time it seems like they sort of don't belong together, but that's part of the fun of the movie. And also the supporting cast is really good. I can't even name them all, but you've got some James Gunn regulars. I know his brother's in there. I know Michael Rooker's in there. He's great. Peter Serafinowicz pops up. John C. Reilly pops up. Glenn Close pops up. Djimon Hounsou is in this. Benicio del Toro. Karen Gillan, for all you Dr. Satan fans out there. Ha! It's Doctor Who. Yeah, Rob Zombie fan. There's always a Rob Zombie vocal cameo in James Gunn's movies, it seems, and I was able to pick it out this time, unless it's not him. So yeah, this movie, man, what's the best stuff about this movie to me is, like, it is really kind of a wonder-filled movie, and I like that Marvel is branching out more into their sort of really science fiction-y stuff, because this movie takes place on a number of different planets and different realms. You're out in space a lot. There are these really gorgeous, like, nebula formations and clouds of dust. It's a very sort of sci-fi art, you know, picturesque sort of a movie. That was a really horrible description, but yeah, so just the designs of everything are gorgeous, and I really appreciated seeing, it seems like they went to the trouble to build a lot of sets, or at least parts of sets. A lot of these sets looked like, for the most part, people were actually in them, and it was nice to see so many practical effects, so much makeup and stuff like that, and so many different kinds of characters, you know? You get certainly a sense for a very multi-cultural, multi-species universe, and that's a neat place to go, because, you know, most of the Marvel movies take place predominantly on Earth, or in a place where most people are, you know, like human people. It almost, there are elements there, you know, it has that sort of flavor of a very vast universe, the way, you know, like a Guillermo del Toro movie almost does, kind of like how Hellboy has this sort of very vast universe, or even Men in Black and stuff like that. Not so much tonally, but, you know, it's got humor, and it's got a lot of different cultures and designs and stuff like that, and there are a lot of different places, and that's part of what is so much fun. The effects are mostly great. I mean, you know, it's an expensive movie, and not every shot is going to be incredible, but there's a lot of really good effects, especially on Rocket, Raccoon, and Groot. They are great. You know, that was one of those things people were like, are they going to be able to bring that to life? Yeah, for the most part, yeah. This is a bunch of you know, misfits banded together, which isn't a new premise, but it is cool that they decided to at least play on the fact that all these people are hurting in some way, all these people have their issues, and they're all, at the end of the day, these sort of broken people who have all come together. So it doesn't get super, like, you know, there's still a balance between character stuff and action, but it does tip into the character stuff, and that's a lot of fun, and it's nice to chew on. You know, I got misty-eyed a couple times, feeling for these people, you know, and so you like these people. The villain is really evil. I think it's also cool to see Marvel branching out into territory that is at least somewhat different from the general superhero movie mold. I mean, it's a fine line. There are definitely similarities, but it's nice to see some characters that aren't by design technically superheroes. You know, you have this sort of band of misfit outlaws, each of whom has their own abilities and their own thing they bring to a team. The personal struggles are different than just like, this strange lab accident happened and now, you know, I'm alienated from the world, and and vigilante justice is looked down upon. And it's nice to see 5 characters who are all dealing with, you know, cracks and insecurities and traumas beyond that stuff. You know, these are the things that have been informing their lives and aren't a result of, you know, some kind of superhero type accident. So it's nice to see them just in that kind of a territory. I hope this movie does well, just to give Marvel the confidence, or to, you know, just bolster their confidence in, you know, choosing more left-of-center properties and, you know, continuing to pick interesting writers and directors for their projects, because ultimately that's the charm, and that's what works about a lot of the Marvel stuff when it works. You know, I'm feeling good about this movie. I like it. It would be cool to go back, I feel like, to sort of see what you catch on the second time, and maybe what things come out on the second time. And part of what I also appreciate, at least in the writing and the directing of these characters specifically, is the fact that all of the humor and stuff comes from the characters and who they are. There's a lot of, like, a reoccurring joke sort of about Chris Pratt keeps saying just these things that people on Earth or you know, humans would say, and people keep not understanding them, which is just sort of a neat little detail to throw in there, you know, because we sort of assume, especially with Hollywood, you know, cinema culture, that everyone knows what's American or what's, you know, in this case, human, and they don't, and it keeps coming up, and I think that's really just really cool. That's part of the fun, is there are so many cool little details and little jokes they put in and stuff like that, and it makes for, at least as of now, what I think is probably one of Marvel's best movies, and probably one of their most interesting movies. It's not completely revolutionary in terms of the fact that it is still a Marvel movie, like, and you there's certain things you know were gonna happen, but it's really well done, and it's really well done. It's really well put together. It's really well orchestrated, and you know, it does have some surprises. So yeah, definitely check this movie out, man. I saw it in 2D. I imagine it would look really good in 3D. So yeah, what did y'all think? I mean, I've never read the comics, so how did you think they translated this to the big screen? Are you happy? Are you not happy? Are you happy about some things and not about others? Why don't we should be more middle ground as a society, I feel like, you know, because so much of the internet age is people going, this is amazing, or this is shitty, and rarely is it ever truly one or the other. So yeah, let's talk about this. Anyhow, oh, and Tyler Bates, man, that the score, the music is a character as well in this movie. And yeah, there've been a lot of musical films lately, and this movie has a lot of personality when it comes to its music, and it's a big part of Star-Lord, his life. You know, it's just a sort of a reoccurring motif, and it makes the movie all the more fun. It gives it sort of a different vibe, because we're not Marvel movies generally don't have a lot of, you know, flux between, oh, here's this, you know, song, you know, here's Hooked on a Feeling, and now here's this thing by the Jackson 5, and here's this, and the action's good, of course, it's a Marvel movie. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm headed over to Ryan's to talk about this now, so I gotta get going. But you cool cats have a lovely afternoon, evening, night, whatever time of day you're watching this, and until next time, cheers. The expression, not the television show. That's good too, but cheers.